What's up, Rebel Scum? Wow, we have an awesome and gigantic review to get through today, and that's going to be the HASLAB, the Vintage Collection, Mos Eisley Cantina from Hasbro. Very excited. The deluxe edition. If you didn't get the deluxe, this is the only difference. You're going to have this other box that's going to have more parts and stuff in it. We'll get to that in just a minute. History of the Cantina. It's been about 30 years since we got our last Cantina set. Of course, we got one back with the original Kenner line. I think that was back in '78. But then the next update was this lovely 3D Cantina that came out in the Power of the Force 2 line. First issued in 1997 as a mail-away. Then we got it in this boxed edition later on in 1998. It had the full playset there, which was kind of the only official Cantina playset we had since then. It had a couple booths in it. It had the bar, had some little elements for you to display your characters. And it also came with a little sand trooper in there. So that was the first time you're getting, he was added in the special edition. So you got that little droid, I can't remember what his name was, but he is your first chance of getting him there. And then we got in the Saga collection, I think in the original trilogy collection too, we had these 3 packs of bars that came with figures. Each one came with a bar section. And then you could put them together. And then eventually they came in sections of 4 together in 2 giant 3 packs where you could get Kid a Kid if you had missed him the first time when he was canceled in the line of these. And then of course he was reissued later on in a single card, but like this was the closest we got to a decent bar at the time, and it was this plastic connecting sections where you have these stools on here, and I think they were removable. Some of them were removable so you could change up the display, but this is like all we had for several decades until we got this. Finally, very excited. If you want to tune in back and check out our look at cantinas in the past, you could check out the Plastic Sands of Mos Eisley that covered the Vintage Collection, the Kenner version of the Vintage Collection, and you could check out our Who's Who Mos Eisley Cantina video we did. So we went through all the different characters if you want to figure out how to staff it. And we're quickly going to summarize that as we show this on display with all the figures up to date in this as well, including the new Momo Odin that just came out and the new Luke that just came out. So we'll try to get this as up to date as we can and let you know where we got certain figures to staff it. But I'm really excited to open this up and see what's inside. Check out the new figures that it contains. You can see right here on the box it has all the 4 new figures. I'm sorry, 5. It has the 2 Tonica sisters. It has the new version of Whir, which we haven't gotten in quite some time. A new Greedo, a new Nabarn Leeds, which we also haven't gotten in quite some time. It doesn't have the other one. I forget how to pronounce his name. It's like Ariel Schuss or something like that. It's a weird name, but the other wolf guy in the Cantina that wasn't Lax Shervik. So we didn't quite hit that goal. So there would have been a 6 picture on there if we did. Hopefully we'll still get him in the Vintage Collection because he's another great alien to staff out the Cantina. But for now, let's open this up. After we briefly check out the awesome packaging, it has that classic Kenner throwback black and white on the box as well as the front there, and there are some action shots on the top. I'll just render it around to show you can see it a little bit. So they did some action photography on the top there, and they even did some on the bottom as well. You could see the droids entering the Cantina, and you could see some of the other action scenes from the Cantina as well. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right, since this thing is so massive, I had to go to my annex space. The acoustics are going to be a little bit different in here. You can see I'm using an air hockey table. I just need a lot of space to spread it out. First thing on top of the box, the instruction manual. We are definitely going to need this. I heard there are a lot of parts in the bar. Hasbro told this to us at SDCC, and yes, there are a lot of parts to just the bar. Building this bar is going to take a little bit of time, but we will speed it up for the sake of this video. And then you can see how the different sections are going to connect. Man, it's like 12 pages so far just on the bar. And then we're getting to the booths now, which look a lot more simpler. So wow, it's going to be busy. So we'll just start grabbing boxes out of here as we slide them out. And we can see this is box 2. So maybe we should start with box 1. All right, box 1. Box 1 right here. Quite a large box. This is going to have, it looks like, sections of the Cantina and this great sticker sheet. Now, if you looked in the case at SDCC, you saw a lot of these stickers, including those wanted posters there for Ponda Baba and Dr. Evison. And we were saying, man, it'd be awesome if we got those stickers. But if you remember the stretch goals, these were part of the stretch goals, and they're on a foil backing. So these are some nice stickers. So you could put these not only on the walls of the Cantina, but you could put them all over your Streets of Mos Eisley playsets. So that's pretty cool, and that's what they had in display at STCC. Next up, let's look at box number 2. Box number 2 has the figures. Yep, all the figures, including the stretch goal figures. I think they were all stretch, except for Whirr was the only one, and the Tonica sisters. They came standard, and there were 3 stretch goals. We only got 2 of the 3. But, you know, the box probably would have looked similar, packed on each side to how this is here if we had our 3rd. But here we go, and they're even covered with this little paper here to keep them from, you know, creating rubs or anything if you did decide that you didn't want to open these guys. But you're going to have to, right? I mean, you got to staff this Cantina up. I love how he has a gun. We're going to put that behind the bar if we can, because I think that's just perfect to have that underneath the counter. And then finally, we have the Tonica sisters. Now, I know there were licensing issues forever on these. So here we have Senny Tonica, and she is HASLAB 08. Just like, let's get Whirr's number here, HASLAB 07. And then we have, right here, we have Bria Tonica. And we'll be showing you better shots of these in a minute. And then HASLAB 09. I guess the ones from the Ghost are the other HASLAB in the series for the figures. We have Greedo here, a new Greedo with a non-soft goods vest this time. He has a little, looks like a little communicator here, and then his gun, and he's HASLAB 10 is his number. And then we have Labyrinth Leeds, and our first time getting articulating arms in this figure. You can see the silver version, not the white version. There actually were 2 of these guys in the Cantina, 1 white, 1 silver, so we'll go over that when we get there. And you even have the ability to switch out his nozzle to give it a different sort of position there. And he's HASLAB 011. All right, so those were the figures, so that's kind of cool. That's box number 2. So they made those really easy to get to. I kind of recall Yak Face being HASLAB 000 or something like that. I still have them in package. I gotta go check that out. But there are history of these. Not a whole lot. As you can see, we're only on up to 11 now of the figures, but they do come. Let's see. We want box number 3. We're going for box number 3 here. We'll check out what's inside box 3. It looks like some more walls. And then I think this is the bar, the top of the bar here. Oh, no, this is the top of the bar. Wow, look at that. It's got a nice translucent white to it. Same with the middle. I'm wondering if you can, yes, look at that. It's plastic throughout. So you could get some kind of light in there underneath, and you could make the whole thing glow in theory. Same with these. You can see they're all translucent. So putting any kind of light on the inside here would then make the top glow, similar to how the bar glows in Galaxy's Edge. So nice, thanks for that, Hasbro. It's pretty cool. Same with the little tables. They left it hollow inside with the translucent white at the top, so any light underneath it would make it shine straight up. A little tea light actually could fit in there because it's not that big. And then you can make all your table candle lights light up. So I'll be looking for some tea lights to get that in the near future. But that is box number 3. Box number 4, a little smaller. And this is the bar parts. Oh man, there are a lot of bar parts. Look at the nice coloring on them. We got some bronze, some silver, some black or cobalt. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parts here. Oh my God, this is gonna take a little while. But I like the translucence in there. Yeah, so wow, they did a really nice job with that. And then lastly, we have box number 5. And box number 5 is probably, I assume, the booths and the benches. Yep. So, and look at this. You got some more pieces here that are transparent, so, or lucent, that we could put lights behind if you wanted to get them to light up. And I remember people playing around with lighting on the Jabba's Palace set, so it's cool that they did this again. Here are all the cups. They spent a lot of time talking about the cups when they were promoting this HASLAB, so there are cups, lots and lots of cups. Here's the droid detector. I don't know if you could, I can't remember if that light up blue or something in the middle I recall in the movie, but very nice. Here's the entrance door. So we'll be getting all this together to show you in just a moment. But let me move this so we can get to the deluxe box. So if you ordered the deluxe version, what you did is you got the ability to completely enclose the cantina all the way around. Otherwise, you were just getting half the cantina. For me, it was totally worth it. I had to have that full cantina. So you can see in the instructions that come in the deluxe, it's just going to be this side. So you're getting 1, 2, 3 booths. This booth being extremely important because that is where the modal nodes end up playing in that booth. I was really surprised at the absence of marketing with the Cantina band in the Cantina because it came out just around the time that they were queuing up the HASLAB. So it's weird, but this is where they're going to be. So we need this. I mean, we just want to display that really cool set we have. And then there's going to be more benches and tables and all sorts of arrangements we can make to get the rest of this together. But then there's also some special features. Here's just a quick look at some of the chairs, and that's really awesome. I know a lot of people made these 3D printing, so it's nice to see it, a nice solid resin piece without all those grid lines on there. We have some walls, and then we have our more cups. Of course, more cups. All about the cups here. And then on the second layer, we have some more booth pieces, some walls, some more tables. Again, look, they wrapped each one in plastic. Oh, plastic fell off. They wrap each one in plastic so you wouldn't scratch anything. Again, they're hollow, so you could put them in there. We got some great details in the wall. There's a little skull there. I know there's that little weird crocodile head thing that should be somewhere in here. That was also included with the deluxe set. It's one of those details you get only if you got the deluxe set. So pretty cool. We'll be getting all those and checking them out as we get through. Oh, here it is. It's in here. You can see it at the bottom where my thumb is. So that little wall ornament is on there. So for me, this was worth it. Hopefully everyone got it. I just thought it was silly to wait so long for Cantina, pay all that much money, and then not just a little bit more to get this deluxe add-on to really maximize it. So that is everything that's in the box, and now we're going to start getting this thing together. All right, let's do a quick check-in. We've been working up this for about an hour now. We showed you how we built this bar. The only thing we didn't show you is we flipped the top on and secured it to all those points we had sticking up here, and then all the pipes ended up connecting into the wall. So that's kind of where that goes. We assemble the hookahs and put them on the bar here. Those jars that are in the pack are just kind of decorative, however you want to put them. And then over here we had the boots. Now the boots do lift up so you can see the characters inside them. We put all those together and showed you that in a time lapse as well. We didn't that in just a moment, and then all the cups and cups and cups that we have over there to open yet. There were a couple of accessories that there were no instructions on. I think they're just some other decorative elements like this pole, what looks like a keyboard, and then this extra little shaker or whatever, because it doesn't have any holes. There were no instructions on where to put it, so I guess just kind of where you wanted them, but it's just an extra accessory. Same with these other ones. So the only other thing we didn't do is get the deluxe side and put it on, but it's going to be very similar to this, where it's going to have these boots that are set up with the removable roofs. And then we're just coming around here to show you the front. So basically here is the entrance to the cantina. You can see the sign there for Eisley Cantina. And then you have a door over here, kind of where the Jawas were hanging out. And then, yeah, little tethers for your mounts. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is, as you're coming in, it's going to look pretty cool. So now we're going to get the deluxe side set up too, so we give you a full 360 of this thing once we get it all together. All right, we have all these figures to look at too. We can't forget. First, we have our Nabron Leeds, who hasn't been updated since the Saga collection, where he came in that 2-pack with Cabe. He's still got that same chromatic look to him, but on this one you could see the arms were not articulating. They were just kind of straight. They moved. That was it. He came with this sort of 4-hand grip gun. I don't have the gun with me at the moment, but you could see the new Nebran leads right here. Big difference. All the arms articulate. So we have bending arms, all 4 of them. We have articulating knees, no articulating knees on the original version. And then we have the mask, which you could change to put the other bendy version as well. It comes with a Cantina cup, and then he's got 2 blasters there as well. He has no holsters, so they would basically just have to, either rest in his hands or somewhere else. Next up, we got that new Whir in the vintage collection. The last one we had was Saga, original trilogy collection, in the bar set, and he was just a repaint, I think, of the original one that came in the Power of the Force 2 mail-away, except his hand is free now. It's not merged with the cup, and he doesn't come with a droid detector. So this version of Whir comes with a rifle. First time he's getting a weapon. We get a lot more chest hair on this version of Whir than we did on the previous version. He's got a better likeness. I still got that expression on his face. His arms bend this time. I mean, he's just massively improved over the original version of Whir. He has an alternative hand, so he could both point and say, "You, no droids," or he could hold a cup and pass it to Luke. And then he's got that nice rifle that is included with him as well. After that, we have our Greedo. So the last, I would say, best version we had of Greedo was in the Saga collection. It was this one right here. This is when they did that vintage style right before the precursor to the vintage collection. He had a soft goods vest back then. I like the soft goods vest, but after a while it pills up a little bit. This one is not soft goods, as you can see. This one is plastic, but he has a similar articulation. His hands aren't as overpronounced as the other version. He's a little slender, more slender, I think. It's not as shiny underneath here. And he just has probably a little more articulation here with the upper thigh than the other one did. In the vest, he doesn't have a burn mark or anything, as some versions of him do. He has his holster, he has his gun, and then this looks like a cup that is included here as well. And we're going to have 1,000 cups to go through in our Cantina, so the cup isn't really a priority for me, but it's nice to have a really solid Greedo at this point. If you have that other one, you could use it as niche, which is another Rodan that was in the Cantina there. Basically Greedo without the vest. So that one's really easy to remove the vest. I think it works. So here's Seni Tonica. We never had a figure like this before, so this is a brand new issuance. She has blaster holding hands right now, 2 blasters. One looks like a Jango blaster here, and then a shorter version of that. She comes with a cup with some purple liquid in it, and then she comes with an alternative hand so you could hold that liquid. So this one is awesome and has all the articulation we know in the vintage collection. She has that amazing unique hair with the coils on it. I hope you can see that there in the detail. And then, the green suited Tonica sister. And then we have Brie Tonica, the blue suited version. Completely different cup, matches a lot of the ones we see in the Cantina there. Blasters are very similar. They're exactly the same. Same with the hand here. I'm guessing that these two are basically the same figure, just painted differently. The face likeness is going to be a little different, but even the hairstyle is very similar. So there's not a drastic amount of retooling between the two of these, other than the face, probably. And then I'm sure the body is very similar. The belt here is different at the bottom, but everything else looks fairly similar to each other. So they have all that articulation that we have in the vintage collection, and they help round out some more human characters we have in the bar. All right, bringing some light to our display, starting all the way from the farm through the streets of Mos Eisley. I told you that we would have a nice display here eventually. If you looked at our previous video, we did have the Streets of Mos Eisley review. So we have a couple sets here. You can see some more dynamic happening on the streets. I got a mixture of all different characters here doing that awesome land speeder scene right into our Cantina. Now, if you come over here, you can see the entrance to the Cantina. I got those Streets of Mos Eisley Jawas. I think they're called Street Jawas or something like that is their name. So they're perfect there. They're also the only Jawas that could sit, because the other ones do not have legs that bend in the vintage collection, or any other Jawa for that matter. I guess the ones with the older torsos from like the Power of the Force 2 line, maybe they bend in half. Yeah, they bend in half. but these ones actually sit, and I think they're meant to be for this set here, just like that. I got that dewback wedged in there right at the entrance. And then we come into the cantina. I have Luke and his droids here. This is going to be the arrangement as best I can from when he walked in. Characters moved all around this place, so it's hard to keep them consistent. But you can see I have a mixer of some customs in here along with a lot of the characters that we already got. We're going to do a video going all over, we'll call it Return to the Cantina, and we'll go over all the characters. So if you're looking to substitute anything in that you don't have, I'll go over where they are positioned from the film. The only caveat I'm going to give you here is there's not enough booths. Hasbro did accurately give us the Cantina. This is pretty much the setup. However, there's one more booth back here and one more booth back here on this side. When it bends around the corner a little bit, where there's like these guys here would be at that booth, and this booth would be moved over. So I had to kind of squish it to make it work. These two are pretty much the setup here. I got the modal nodes right here. They're all set up with their instruments in the booth there across from the bar. But unless you had another two booths, you can't get the full effect for all the characters you have. A friend of mine is going to give me his deluxe set after he didn't want it. So I will add those two other booths at the end, and then come back for the Return to the Cantina so you guys could see the setup with everything. But for now, you could see how we got, I would say, enough cups. I know Hasbro was big on how many cups you're getting, but if you just look at this going around, this is a well lived in world. There are cups everywhere. Like, there are more than enough cups. There are different sizes. There are different colors. Here's a good spread. You can see these tiny cups, big cups, brown cups, white cups, or clear cups. And then you can see they have the white cups over here too. I put some in the back just to make it look a little more lived in. Somebody left some on top of the droid detector. And the droid detector, by the way, is translucent. The blue parts, you're gonna have to figure out how to get it off there to get a light bulb behind it if you want it to light up. There's a couple parts that don't have instructions, and I'm gonna tell you what we did with them. So one back here, that little silver IGD-8 shaker, that actually is on the instructions, although they don't call it out specifically. You can see it in the last page when they are going over where everything is. If you pay close attention, it's down here in the corner. Let me see if I get my thumb right there at the bottom. And I checked the movie, and that is where it is, in the back corner there behind the Tonica sisters against the wall. But it's right there. They just don't actually tell you to put it there, although it is there on the image. Very frustrating. The other thing was this little weird piece. I know a lot of people online are trying to figure out what it is. Some people thought it was an antenna that sits on the building, but I really didn't see that outside. I have seen some people say it's one of the instruments or part of the band, so I just threw it in the back there, and along with the band members in the background. And then the other thing that was kind of weird are these little things down here. Now they look like keyboards for a computer. They actually have the space bar, they have the keys and everything. Let's see if I get it to focus. So it looks like a full-on keyboard. The only thing I could think of is some kind of point of sale system for the bar. So there's three of them. I threw them in behind the bar on the shelf there, along with Wurr's gun there on the bottom, just so he could have it in case he needs it. But that was it's odd. I can't find that anywhere. Someone says it's one in the visual dictionaries that I saw in the forums, but I don't know where. So if you know where, please share it, what those things are and where they're supposed to go. No instruction again. That was kind of frustrating. So the mysteries we got are those keyboards and that weird thing that we think is an instrument. Would have been nice if they just included some kind of explanation. So the hookahs here are pretty cool. A little frustrating though. It's hard to keep them in the little holes. These the hookah wires keep popping out the second you touch them. And no matter how hard you press them in, it's just really frustrating. I got it there with Danny Jerko, and then the Tonica sisters is hard to get in their hands because they're just tiny, and they just keep popping out. So that is my other point of frustration with this set. But we kept more than enough cups. I'm going to work on getting some lights in the tables, and I'm sure there'll be light kits that pop up on Etsy for this thing, like we saw with the Java version. For his palace as well. But I took off all the roofs just so you get a good visual here of what it looks like inside. And with the deluxe set, it's very, very cool. There's that crocodile head that I have upside down for some reason. There we go. But altogether, a lot of detail. The bar came out great. I wish they had some piece on top here to give it more of a finished look like they did with the tops of the booths. but for some reason they just left it this more exposed look up here, and I think that just kind of hurts. So I'm sure someone will make something on the secondary market just to finish that off, but kind of annoying. They couldn't just throw a little cover on top for a $500 set. But I love all the little details, the little bottles they got on there, all the distillery. Like the bar came out amazing. That's my favorite part of this entire set. They did a really good job with that bar. There's a couple of cool cups that come with the figures that have some fluid in there, like that one there I threw for Cabe. So just fun to have those. And of course, any character over the years that came with a cup, I just let them keep the cup because the cups are, I think, cool when they have a little liquid in them. So, all right, that is basically the set we wanted to show you. We will come back and revisit the Cantina and go over all the characters in there and where we have them placed, just to, after all our extensive research of making the movie, along with some fun little customs we made to round out the set to bring in those guys that I don't know if we're ever going to get, but we kind of needed essentially to get in there. But yeah, that is basically our look at the Cantina. All right, I know this was a long video, but there was a lot. I mean, this kit had 5 boxes plus the deluxe box. It had a bunch of figures that we showed you, some updates, some new figures that we haven't gotten. We've been waiting 30 years for this, so I was really excited. The bar was amazing, my favorite part of this thing. The boots are great too, everything, more than enough cups. Thank you, please, no more cups. So it really gives you a lived-in feel if you take a look at what we showed you when we had the completed version. I mean, I think you need the deluxe. Like, it's if you're short on space, you just want to take a look at it from the side. That's great, but I feel like it really gives you that that whole encompassing look if you go all the way around it and have that full set, and it closes up really nice as well. We're going to be returning, like I said, to look at all the figures, because I'm sure you want to get some of those guys to staff out your Cantina if you haven't done that already. A lot of them are commanding quite a high premium now in the secondary market. Another tip that I didn't mention is have a good pair of tweezers nearby, because those cups are not easy to put there, and you don't want to knock one around a character and have to dig it with your giant mitts. So you want a pair of tweezers, preferably one with a light on it like this, so you can see those little areas where the cups need to go. So definitely get that, and then get some sprue cutters, because a lot of those parts are in there. You're going to have to cut them out of the little frame. It's easier than twisting them, and it's going to leave the same little mark where they would be twisting off anyway, so you're not ruining them. So bit of advice there if you're trying to put this together. Sprue cutters and then a good pair of tweezers for your finishing touches. So I'm going to wait until I get those that extra deluxe section so I could add those other 2 boots on, just to expand the Cantina a little bit and be able to properly seat everybody that we have. And then I'll give you guys a look at that, and hopefully I'll get some lights in there by that time as well. So I hope you enjoyed this look. Love the set. I mean, I hope you picked it up, because it's going to be jumping very soon to probably 4 figures, because it is just absolutely phenomenal, and it makes me hopeful that we might see a Death Star or something else like that in the future HASLAB, maybe just a huge section of it or something. I don't know, because this is really cool. And again, this was a really nice modular set. Each little section you could take apart and assemble it any way you wanted to. You can move the seats around, the tables around, everything connected, similar to how the Streets of Mos Eisley did, like each little segment. So it gives me hope that they could build more things like that, and we could just connect them. But again, everything down to the box, absolutely loving this set. My only criticism is that roof, leaving that unfinished above the bar. I wish they would have just smoothed it out a little bit, and I wish they would have told us where a couple of those parts go that we have no idea what they are. So the mystery of that pole and the mystery of those keyboards, hopefully we'll figure it out. Someone will be like, here it is from the visual dictionary. But they just did not give you an instruction, and that was weird, because they gave you an instruction on pretty much every single part except for the pole, the keyboards, and the little IG-88 head distillery shaker, which we figured out and is, to their credit, is pictured in there, but they just don't tell you to put it there. But you know, everything looks pretty screen accurate for the most part. I mean, it's not going to be 100%. A lot of things moved around. There were reshoots. So it is encompassing all the boots that were there before the archway, when there will be a couple boots beyond that. But it does have everything pretty much that we think should be there. So we're happy with it. I'm sure you're going to be happy with it if you have one too. And it should be in your hands now, if not very, very soon. So keep checking the mail. So that's all for this time. Like, subscribe, and follow. We'll have that return to the Cantina segment soon after I get all those parts. In the meantime, stay vigilant, you rebel scum.